welcome to Happy Hour with Haley. I'm Haley Chura, joined again this week by Jocelyn Wong Neill. Jocelyn, it's good to see you back. How have you been in the 2 weeks since I last talked to you?
Hi. So, for our audio listeners, I got my Stars on Ice hoodie, and
Right. You saw Alyssa Liu,
yeah,
Elisa Leo.
it's okay. We'll
How
just
was
say
it?
Alyssa Liu. It was really
Okay.
good. We made it a whole trip. So it was like I called it like our pre-Mother's Day trip because it was the weekend before, and now this weekend I'm gonna chill. But we did the whole thing where we live like a 15-minute walk from the Amtrak station, so it was Ainsley's first trip on a train, and it's like 2 hours to get into Newark, New Jersey, which is one stop before New York City, and that's where they were skating, and it was a sold-out show. We got nosebleed seats because I guess even though we booked 2 months ago, it was already, like, hard to get tickets, so I was just
Wow.
excited.
So this
Yeah.
was gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist, Alyssa Liu
Mhm.
from the United States, plus all the other U.S. Olympians.
Yeah,
Is that
it was,
right?
like, the entire American contingent, like, the team gold, so Ilya, the quad god, um, Amber Glenn, and then Madison Chalk and Bates, and Ellie Cam and Denny
Wow.
O'Shea. So we got to see all of them do, like, not just, like, their Olympic routines, but, like, their fun ones, and then Ilya did, like, his fun routine to Eminem "Lose Yourself" and did, like, a bajillion backflips, which is super cool.
Wow. You got to see the backflips in person. Is this a tour that they're doing or was this a one-stop thing?
No, it's a whole tour. So, they're, like I know that they did, like, 4 cities in a row, like, including the one we were at, but I think now they just were in Chicago, and they're on their way out to the West Coast, so they're gonna be hitting up some stops in California, but yeah, we we got to see them. It was so cool. It's exciting.
Okay. And you went with two-time podcast co-host Samantha Rothberg. You met her. You guys are the Northeast contingent,
Yes.
and it was a nice little like happy hour meetup. This week was supposed to be you and Sam talking, and I was supposed to be out of this. You guys were just going to. That was our like initial plans when we had initial plans
Yeah.
for this show, and then it has devolved to Haley and Jocelyn, and then the occasional extra guests, which was very nice chatting with Brittany Talbot last week. But while you were traveling,
She's so
but
fascinating. I learned
uh,
so many things about her.
I learned so many things, and I coach her. But that was a very very good episode. Professional triathlete Brittany Talbot last week. What was it like meeting up with Sam in person? You two have met before, right?
Yeah, we met we both did the Rothman 8K at the Philadelphia Marathon weekend last year. But it was very cool to hang out and just catch up. And yeah, Ainsley was pretty good up until she was like besties with Sam up until like halfway through the show. It started at 7 and we didn't realize it was like over 2.5 hours. So there was a
Oh,
first
and this is
act.
Ainsley, your 5-year-old daughter.
Yes. So she was in like a great mood and like clapping and enjoying herself. And then she turned to me and goes, "I'm really enjoying this." And I'm like, "That's fantastic." But then suddenly, like 2 songs into the second act, she just had her grumpy face on. And it was like, uh-oh, like what happened? And because she usually takes like a 2-hour nap in daycare, but not on the weekend. So that she usually does stay up past 9 on the weekdays, but because she hadn't had a nap, she, like, passed out the second half of the show, and it was like, "Oh, you didn't get to see the Golden Huntrick song," which was, like, the coolest part.
Oh, that's your favorite. Your K-pop.
Yeah.
I saw where you posted on social media. I do love Golden. That is a great song by Huntrix. So Ainsley missed that. She was asleep. It is late. That's late
It
after,
was late.
7 to 9 p.m.
It was,
after a
like,
big day with no nap.
9:40 PM it was out, and then I had to try to wake her up. It was hard.
Okay, but you and Sam had a good time. watching
I
Huntrix,
did I
or the
did
Huntrix
have,
Golden Performance.
um I had a spicy margarita there in the
Oh,
arena,
at
so
the oh,
yeah,
that's
at the
fun.
show.
S
Yes.
and okay, and this is happy hour, and I think you're recreating that right
I
here
am
on this show
trying,
now.
although it's not gonna be as fancy because I didn't have time to, like, put a spicy salt rim on my glass, but yeah,
My
it's a nice
goodness. I always appreciate the levels you go to for this show.
yes.
I'm doing from a can. I have a Moscow Mule hard seltzer. This is in honor of you because I know you love the Moscow Mule. It's in a regular glass, but in the last of my ice. But I yes, when you said spicy margs, I was like, I can't quite pull that off today,
Yeah,
but I'll do what I can, Jocelyn
okay.
style.
So
So
I have
where's
my
your
shaker
spicy marg?
out.
Cheers to you.
I cut
Oh, you're shaking. Oh my
I'm
gosh,
gonna
again.
shake.
This is
Okay,
twice in
so
a row.
last week, I would listen to our podcast, and I was disappointed that the shaking sounds didn't come through, and I think our echo
Mhm.
cancellation's just, like, too good on our microphones.
Mhm.
So, we'll see if it, like, comes through this time. S I cheated a little. I have this is a Fever Tree margarita mix, so I put that I cut up some jalapenos, and then I was at the liquor store, and I got more of these, like, mini airplane-sized travel bottles. Of which
Nice.
they had many flavors, so I also, like, got, like, a whiskey, a rum, in case I wanna try to make different drinks and use that chemistry degree that I usually neglect. Okay, so we'll see
I'm
if
so
the
glad this
shaking
podcast has given you a chance to use your chemistry degree. Initially, this is also where I have devolved. I was like, I'm going to learn to make drinks with Jocelyn, and that has not happened. Instead, I have learned to buy different canned drinks, but this is pretty good. I will say this Kettle House Brewing Hard Seltzer Moscow Mule. I'm a big Moscow Mule fan as well, and it is pretty good. Okay, we got the shaker going.
You hear it?
I can hear it. I don't know. I can hear it. I don't know if that will make the recording, but
We don't
I
know
can
if
hear
it'll
it.
go through. Okay. And I don't know how
Yes.
spicy it's gonna be. There were some recipes that also had you actually add, like, there's an actual, like, jalapeno liqueur, but, you know, we're not that fancy. There was other ones that had you add, like, sriracha, but that makes me feel, like, a little sketched out. Alright, so I'm pouring it up. I
All
did oh,
right.
I have yeah, I have more extra peppers for
What a
garnish.
great glass. It looks
Oh
like a
my gosh.
Disney glass.
It's a
Wait, I'd
Disney
say Dumbo
glass?
and Bambi.
Okay, so my mom sent me this because she never throws anything away, and I have no idea how old it is, but at the bottom it says, like, 100 years of Disney magic or something, and it was from Walt Disney's 100th birthday. So this was from, like, 2001.
That's very special. Well, thank you for bringing your Disney glass. This has been 2 weeks of Disney surprises because last week we did learn Brittany worked at Disney and raced the
Mhm.
Disney triathlon, and so it has been 2 weeks. So cheers to your spicy marg. How is it?
It's not spicy enough, but it's good. I like it.
Okay, next time we can add the sriracha. And going back to your Stars on Ice tour with your daughter Ainsley, the one of the major reasons was because Ainsley is very into ice skating now, right?
Yes. She yeah, only because she watched the Olympics. Like, we've always been near an ice arena, a couple of them, and it wasn't until we started watching the Olympics that she started pretending to do these routines in the living room, and I was like, "Okay, maybe we'll try this." She's only now gone on the ice 2 times, but each time she's less scared, and we made the first half is like the lesson, and then the second half, the parents or siblings can go skate with the student. So, we actually did a whole loop around the rink for the first time.
The 2 of you
Yes.
together.
Yes.
What a great, like, Mother's Day week, I feel like. I will say happy Mother's Day to you because we are recording this just before
Thank
Mother's Day,
you.
but what a great Mother's Day week to do Stars on Ice, skate a loop together. Ainsley's out on the ice, and then chill weekend at home for the actual holiday. That sounds perfect.
Yes, and I think if this was, like, a month ago, I would have been scared that she would have, like, knocked me over or, like, yanked me down, but I actually felt like we were pretty balanced and safe and, like, not in danger of, like, falling on our butts when we did it. It was, like, really slow, and she was, like, not sure about the whole thing, but I was, like kinda like when you're on a long run and you're struggling, I was like, "Okay, get to the red line, now get to the blue line," and then we just kept, like, slowly making our way, and we did a whole loop. It was awesome.
Great. And so she sounds like she's enjoying it. Maybe not the late night skates, but she likes the general ice skating vibe.
Yes, yes. And then the following let me see, then we came home Saturday, and then I got up crazy early Sunday morning to go do the Broad Street 10-miler in Philly and tested out the
That's right,
broccoli
you race.
shots.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so late night you so I did not realize that Stars on Ice was so late. And then so it
Yeah,
ends at 9:40. You
it
take the
was
train back home and
no,
then get up
no.
and race the next
So,
morning.
we
Oh,
actually it was Friday night, and then we stayed the night in a hotel. And then we came back Saturday
okay.
afternoon, and then the race was Sunday morning. So it wasn't yeah, I know
Okay.
it was a little hectic, but not as crazy as, plus Philly's, like, in between Delaware and Newark, New Jersey. So we would've it would yeah, I don't know, if it was back to back, then I feel like I would have, like, been like, "Alright, Ainsley, go home all the way by yourself. I'm gonna stop in Philly and do the race."
Well, tell me about the Broad Street 10-miler.
Okay, so, like, my I feel like I'm with you and, like, my life has been chaos and I haven't trained very much. And, a good week of training for me is, like, 5 or 6 hours of training, but a lot of times it's only 2 or 3 hours of training, so I was just like, this was supposed to be my spring A race, and I was like, "I don't know. Why did I say this was gonna be my A race? I'm not ready to do a 10-miler." Did not feel like I was ready to crush it, but, I was in the Purple Corral, which goes up to 115, and so that was my goal. I was like, "You just prove you belong in the Purple Corral." So my goal was to break 115, which is just to hold 730 miles, and then I tried out the broccoli shot at 4 in the morning because the race started at
So
7.
this is a few weeks ago on this show, you and I took the
Uh-huh,
Nomeo broccoli shots on the
uh-huh.
air. Uh, and then you did text me the next day and you were like, "Did you feel better in your workout?" And I hadn't worked out yet, but I had totally forgotten. So I didn't notice if it made a difference, but this time you decided to take it right before. And this is the broccoli concentrate that the Norwegians of all
It's supposed
endurance
to
sports
buffer your
apparently
lactic
use.
acid, just like kinda like
Yeah, and you
bicarb, but
decided to use it on race day. Just go for it.
yeah, because when else, when else are you gonna try stuff? You're not supposed to try new stuff on race day, but also at this age, it's just like, "Let's do it. What the hell?" So, I took it, the craziest part with Broad Street is it's point to point. It is slightly downhill, but then they encourage you to like, park at the stadium parking, which is near the finish line, and then take the SEPTA, which is their subway train, into the city, and I just didn't realize that the train was so slow because it was like, well, it's a 10-mile ride, how long could it take? Took, like, over 45 minutes. So, I thought we parked at 5:30, got on train by 5:45, and then it stopped at every station. For next year, I'm like, "Oh, there's" some of them were express trains, which someone was saying it wasn't that much faster, but it only stopped at, like, 5 stops instead of, like, 15 or 20 stops, so I think that one was faster. Yeah, I barely got to the start in time, actually managed to find a porta potty that had a fast line, jogged to the Purple Corral, and then, like, jogged in place for 5 minutes, and then the horn went off, and I was like, "Yes, I made it, I didn't miss my start."
Wait, you're a jog in place before the start person?
'Cause I didn't have time to do a warm-up at all.
So you're just
And
jogging
I
there in place.
was
Because it is 10 miles. I mean, that's a decent amount of time to run. But it sounds like this setup worked out actually because you had a great race.
Yeah, so, oh my gosh, I don't know, I felt like I crushed it. I wasn't in shape enough to even go out too hard because I think the danger is to, like, go out too fast and die. So I was like, "Alright, just hold back," and then, yeah, by the 2nd mile, I was, like, hitting under 7:30s, like, just under 7:30s, and it just felt effortless, which is crazy because I have trouble going 7:30s in training, but I always race way faster than my training would indicate, so I was like,
You're a
"Okay."
gamer. You're a
Mhm.
gamer. You like rise to the occasion. That adrenaline getting you on that train while you're like, "Ah, I gotta get there. I gotta get there." It just
Yeah.
like does something for you. Getting on the start line, pinning that bib number on.
Yeah, and then I just felt it had such great crowd support, so I think they say it's like 40,000 people, it's like one of the biggest and oldest 10-milers in the country. So, it was
Wow.
really impressive how many people can run 7:30 pace for 10 miles because there were so many people around me the whole time. Amazing crowd support, and then I just, like, felt myself smiling, like, I feel like it was, like, from mile 4 to mile 8, I was just like, "This is amazing, I feel amazing, I don't know how, but I'm holding this pace." So, yeah, I didn't struggle until, like, mile 9 because it was just, like, the miles kept going by, and then at mile 9, instead of being like, "Yeah, only 1 more mile to go," I was just like, "Oh my god, I still have 1 more mile to go." So, I felt people passing me, but then at some point, they have, like, a huge sign that says a quarter mile to go, so I, like, rallied, and somehow that was, like, my 2nd fastest mile, so I was like, "Okay, I'll take it, I'll take it." My watch said I broke 1:15 by, like, 3 seconds. Now my official time says I missed it by 20 seconds, but I'm going by my watch time, I don't care.
I'll go by your watch time as well. Have you run many 10 milers? Is that, I mean, it doesn't seem like a very common distance. I think I've done one. I haven't done a ton of road races, but I've done one 10 miler. I think I did the Atlanta 10 miler last fall, 1 week after
Mhm.
Kona. I actually feel like my experience was like weirdly very similar to yours, where I like
Okay.
barely made it to the start. That I didn't have a fast porta potty line, but I like truly, I am usually actually a fairly like early to the start person. I
Yeah.
did no warm up. It was so crowded the first 2 miles that it was fine. I just, like, warmed up the first 2 miles. I was just thinking about this. I've done no warm up for I've only like, my last 3 races, which I've only done, like, 3 races or 3 or 4 races. Actually, my last 2 I think I've quit warming up. But I just warm up in the race. But now that I'm, like, yeah, I'm, like, retired and I was like, warm ups, who needs them? But, and then I also blew up at mile 9. It was not my 2nd fastest mile though, but and a lot of people passed me. So my 1 miler sounded it was like a very similar race
Yeah.
experience.
It's a really fun distance, and I think it's more of an East Coast thing because I don't remember doing many 10-milers, like, on the West Coast, but here, like, I've lived in DC and Delaware, but there are a good amount of 10-milers where at some point I was like, "I think I'll be a 10-mile specialist." But there's a lot of 10-milers and 15Ks, which I think 15K is like 9.3 miles, but it's surprisingly common.
It's a nice distance. I do think it's nice being a little bit like 13.1, sometimes half marathon feels a little long.
Mhm.
Uh, I raced a lot of the T100, which is 18K, which is 10 point something miles, and I did really like that distance. I feel
Yeah.
like that's well suited to me, but I probably, yeah, I needed the 9.3. I needed the 5.K, 15K when I did mine, but it
Yeah.
was more just maybe also racing 1 week after Kona. I was trying to keep that Kona fitness going as long as I could. And like I think I've said on here, it is gone. It held on as long as it could. Congratulations on the sub 1:15 10
That's
miler,
right.
getting that goal, proving that broccoli shots work, maybe watching Olympians. even in a different sport, there's some kind of transference in that.
Sure.
I do think maybe we are learning warm-ups are overrated. I shouldn't say that because I definitely give warm-ups to most of my athletes that I coach, and now I'm on here saying that, but there is something sometimes I think to, like, easing into those early miles. Like, if you haven't necessarily warmed
Yes.
up and if the race is long enough, like, easing into those early miles, that does make the later miles a little bit faster. So, I think there's something to it, but I, um I just realized I've signed up for a race,
What did
and
you
should
sign
I
up
can I,
for?
like I'm still very retired, but I signed up for a trail race this summer, like a local trail race here in,
Okay.
the Bozeman, Montana area. I think it's 38K, which to me is like, just less than a marathon, so I think it's like 23 miles, something like
Oh,
that.
that's an
It is also
interesting
point to point.
distance. Uh-huh.
I know, I think it's, like, the distance the trail is, but my friend Nikki said that it's Nikki Kimball, who's, like, incredible ultra runner, won
Okay.
Western States, won UTMB, won Leadville, won everything. She said she thinks I can do it because it's not that technical. So, I
Mhm.
do defer to Nikki on a few things. I'm not, Nikki does do ultra coaching, and I'm not coached by Nikki because my schedule right now doesn't really allow for coaching and consistent working out. But I just felt like I needed a goal to, like, get myself to even go run right now. I kind of fell off a cliff the last couple months, and what that was not my intention ever. Like, I wanted to
Mhm.
continue to exercise, even in my professional retirement, but, I have kind of fallen off a cliff a little bit, so I am trying to get myself a little bit more motivated to get out and run, and I intend to race this as a participant. I don't intend to
Okay.
go really hard. I It's on the 4th of July, so I have a little bit of time to train, and I don't really have a lot of trail skills. I'm not, but I think there's a piece of me that likes that challenge, and then, Nikki said that, skills I can learn about, like, downhill running that might be
Mhm.
good for my brain right now to, like, kind of focus on that, on learning those skills versus doing, running intervals like I used to. So, I'm kind of excited about it. I'm excited to sort of, just have something on the calendar. There's a piece of me that's like, would it be excessive if I rode my bike to the start? Like, I think the start is like 16 miles away ish
From
from
your
home
front
and,
door?
like, uphill.
Ooh.
Yeah, uphill, and I think it starts at, like, a very, like, civilized time of day, and so I was like, "Is that excessive or is that kinda fun?" I don't know. I'm like, because it might get me to, like, ride a little bit more too.
Who's gonna hold your bike?
That's to be determined.
Who's gonna transport it from the start?
Well, I'll just chain it up somewhere, and then I think they bus you back from, like, the finish back to,
Okay.
like, the parking area. I think, I hope.
Is this your nice
Otherwise, I'll have
fancy
to run
bike that
back.
you're gonna chain up?
I was gonna I mean, do you think someone's gonna, like, drive up into the mountains and then steal
I
a bike?
I
Like,
don't know how
there
safe
are
it is
easier
where
ways to
you are.
steal a bike. There are I just think sometimes you have to think about, like, ways to steal a bike, and I'm like, if you're gonna go drive 16 miles up into the mountains to steal a bike, like, maybe you deserve a bike, but, it's gonna be chained up. I mean, like, all my bikes are kinda nice, but honestly, when people come over, they think the fat bike is the nicest, like the fat tire bike. That's usually when
Okay.
people are like, "Whoa, that one," which is the least nice. It's so heavy, like, that bike is so heavy, and it costs, even brand new 10 years ago cost, like, under $1,000, and so, I'm always like, "Yeah, steal that bike." Um, no, I'm not gonna ride, like, my TT bike. I'm not riding
I
hopefully,
don't
I ride,
know.
like, a slightly older, like a do you think I should ride my TT bike up to the trail race?
Like, there's that
Should I
triathlete girl.
should I I know, I'm just up for trying new things. Okay, maybe you're helping me rethink this, and I should just, like, carpool or drive. I don't know. Well, I have some time. I'm just trying to, like, still do sports, but in a different way. I think that's, like, my goal right now. I also did something kind of unusual this morning. I went to like a 7 AM sober dance party. What do you think of that? What do you think of that cocktail queen, Jocelyn Wong Neill?
7 AM. Was it like a sunrise party? Like, tell me more.
Yes. So I knew this guy through triathlon and he's a DJ and he's invited me to some of these like sober dance parties and I always said I couldn't go because they were at late at night. And I was like, "Oh, I can't go. Sorry." I should have honestly been honest and been like, "I can't dance, especially while sober." I'm like, "This is my worst nightmare." But you know what? I am trying to get out of whatever funk I have been in for, the last probably 12 years. But really the last like 5 months especially. And I was like, okay. I mean, he's like, text me and he's like, okay, you're in luck. I'm going to do one at 7 a.m. And I was like, this is why you should tell the truth. So I'm like caught in my, lie. I did say, I was like, I don't know if I can dance. Like, I don't know about this. And he's like, no, it's like a safe space. It's fun. And I was like, okay. So I went and I will say it was more fun than I expected. It was a lot more fun than I
Mhm.
expected. I did ride my bike there because I'm in a better mood if I bike to places. That's
Okay.
what I've learned. So I did ride my bike there. It was closer than 16 miles away. And um it was fun. I actually felt like I had a very good time. I met some people that like
Mhm.
I didn't know anyone there except for like the DJ and one other person, which I actually think was kind of nice, like to not know anyone. Except
Yeah.
one guy did recognize me from the gym, which I was like, "Oh, I got to go back to the gym." 'Cause I have not been at the gym in a little while and I can tell. And so that is one of my other goals is to go to the gym more often so that
Mhm.
people maybe when I go to random things, people do recognize me from the gym. But I had a good time. I had a good time. The only thing that has happened since is that and since this will be definitely gone from the stories by the time this podcast airs, I did see like the DJ posted and I'm not sharing his his profile, but he did post a reel of like or not a reel. It was like a story, Instagram story of dancing and I could see myself and I was like, "Oh no." Like it was way worse than I even imagined in my mind. I think after a while, like they're playing Lady Gaga. There was no Taylor Swift, but they were playing Lady Gaga, and I was like, I got this. Like I feel pretty good. Like I'm
Yeah.
having fun. And then I saw a video of myself dancing sober at 7 in the morning, and I am so glad that video will have disappeared by the time this airs because I really don't need that evidence on the internet. No, I think it's okay. It's okay to be bad at things. Like, again, I feel like I'm very bad at a lot of things right now, and so I'm like, this is the theme. Let's just do bad things that you're bad at, and um, I should share it. I should share it.
That
That would be
sounds
like the
no,
next
that
step, I
does
guess.
sound
But
super duper fun. It does sound fun. It's like one of those memes where it's like what I think I look like when I'm dancing and what I actually look like when I'm dancing. That's how I feel about swimming.
most people Yeah, that's what a lot of people post that meme as like swimming or cycling. And honestly, I feel like I look pretty good swimming and cycling. And so I'm like, I've never identified with that meme because I used to be so good at things. And now that meme is my life with literally everything I do. I'm like, how the mighty have fallen. But maybe eventually it will be a funny memory and I'll be really good at dancing. I don't know.
Yeah. You gotta
Honestly, I
start
look at
somewhere.
it and I was like, I am meant for the water. But okay, well going back to trail racing, did you catch any of the action at the Cocodona 250 the last week?
So, I
Did
heard
you
that
did you follow that race at all?
the overall winner was a woman, which is
Rachel
exciting.
Entrekin, she did. She won overall 250-mile trail race. She had won the women's race, I think the last 2 years, and then this year went for it and won the whole thing. I feel like she was like in first or second the whole race. And then I think after like it was fairly early, like 60 miles, took the lead and then never gave it up, which is
Wow.
incredible. I know, it was like, and I think she ran, you know, her goal was to run under 60 hours, which is like just
Holy crap.
unfathomable. Like where I'm
That's
like
such a
60
long time to
hours.
be out there. Jeez.
Right, like, she started the race on Monday and I think finished on Wednesday and went faster than anyone has ever
Oh
done. Like,
my
I think she went, like,
god.
50 like, well under 60 hours, and so, it's such an incredible feat, and everyone who did that race I know that there were people finishing, I think the final finisher, I mean, I think finished on Saturday? So I think you start on Monday and you finish running on Saturday?
What?
Isn't that
I
incredible?
that's wild.
Do you think they do a warm-up? Do you think they do a warm-up for a 250
No.
mile race?
No, not at all. I don't think they
Yes,
even
well, we
jog
might
at the
have someone.
start.
I ho I know, I wonder if like, do you even run the day before? I have questions, and I do have someone who might answer it, but yes, we it was an incredible, incredible race. Rachel Entrechan won. At one point, there were, like, 3 women in the top 5 overall. I think,
Wow.
Rachel Entrechan, Heather Jackson, our former professional triathlete turned trail runner,
Mhm.
gravel racer extraordinaire. She ended up finishing 4th, for the women, but at one point, she was the top 5 overall. She was in 2nd place for the women for a long
Wow.
time. Courtney Dauwalter, trail running legend. She ended up Courtney ended up finishing 2nd, and I think that that was a lot of redemption for her because last year she DNF'd at this race, and so I think that was it was just like a very incredible, incredible race, and I think especially from the women's race perspective, which was really fun. I think in past years we followed these big events like the Barkley Marathon
Mhm.
and I don't know. I haven't followed Barkley quite as much, I think, since I got off Twitter, honestly, and
Yeah.
that was, like, very much a Twitter race that you followed, and I felt like Cocodona had incredible, like, Instagram posts and reels and photos and just this incredible endurance feat that you can follow for a couple days, and then the women doing so well kept me very entertained. Congratulations to everyone who started and finished that race. I cannot fathom 250 miles. That's so impressive.
No, that's crazy because I've raced the 50-mile distance, like, a handful of times, so that would be, like, doing 5 of them. That's crazy.
Can you
No,
imagine?
I cannot imagine. Not at all.
So cool. And then in the triathlon world, we did have some racing this weekend, Gulf Coast 70.3, which Jocelyn, fun fact, was it used to not be an Ironman branded race and was actually, I think, the second 70.3 or half distance race I ever did. I raced it back in
Oh,
2009. I did do that race, and now it is an Ironman branded race. It's in Panama City Beach, Florida, and it happened this morning, and
oh
it did have
gosh.
a pro race. Did
I
you
didn't
did you see any of the
realize
results?
I did, but I didn't realize that it's the same race as Gulf Coast Half is what it used to be
Did you do
called.
Gulf Coast Half?
No, I've done Ironman Florida, but yeah, when I lived in Atlanta, I
Uh-huh.
remember, like, hearing a lot about Gulf Coast, and I guess, yeah, it was always in May, but, yeah, I didn't
Mhm.
put 2 and 2 together and realize Ironman actually bought it.
Yes, I know, I think that happened a few years ago, but I it's kinda neat that it had a pro race this year, and it can be really hot, and then it is ocean swim, and I believe the swim was shortened a little bit this year, which is too bad, but at least they were able to do a little bit of swim. I know that when I raced it in 2009, it was really choppy. Like, it was a
Mhm.
very, very hard swim, like, big swells, which I loved because that was, like, when I was closer to being a swimmer. Again, I'm a water person, and I was, like, swimming, and I was like, "Oh, if this is hard for me, it must be so hard for everyone else." And I was an amateur at the time, but, um and I think I did win my age I think that was the first race I ever won my age group in, but, it was and a lot of that probably was because of the swim. It was also because Sarah Brevoort, who actually did beat me, got a penalty, and that was back in the time when they just added the time to your time afterwards, and so I found out afterwards, and I ended up being good friends with Sarah, so I can,
I met
talk
her
about that, but
too.
I think there you go, what a small
Do
triathlon
you think
world.
she listens to this podcast? I raced her when
You never know.
she was the top girl at, wait, so UGA,
UVA.
right?
Was it at
Yeah.
UVA?
No, it
UVA
was
or
when she was
UGA. Oh,
she was
oh,
at
yeah, because she was on
UGA
the
'cause sh
triathlon club
yeah,
team.
she
That
was a
was
Georgia
yeah.
Bulldog, and I was a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, so we were rivals, but
Right.
ended up being good friends while we were
She took
yeah.
me on my first ever brick workout. She taught me how to, like, run off the bike, which very cool, but maybe she's listening. I think she's a doctor in Salt Lake City now. So,
Wow, go
uh,
Sarah.
I mean I know. Very impressive people in this sport. But anyway, going back to Gulf Coast, I did want your opinion on this. That race was won by Sam Long on the men's side and Grace Alexander on the women's side. And, very, very good, strong races from them. And I
Mhm.
believe there's a lot of attention have been paid to the bike split. So it is a really pretty fast course. I think, fairly flat. And I do think there can be some wind coming off that, Panama City Beach, coming off the water. But I wanted your opinion on this because I think there's been some controversy on the internet,
Okay.
as there usually is, over Sam Long's bike split, which I think was a 1:49 for 56 miles, and whether that counts as the fastest 70.3 bike split. Because apparently I think Frederick Funk went 1:48 in Shamarin one year, but they say that course might have been a little short. And so
Okay.
the question is this a world record?
No, I would say no. So I'm doing my research. Supposedly, the swim got shortened to 1K. Sam's swim time was 8 minutes and 33 seconds, which
That's a heck of a 1K swim.
right?
As
Yeah, it
someone
says
who
he
actually has swam the 1,000 in the pool, I mean, that's a very impressive 1K swim time. 8
do we
minutes?
think it was actually
I'm
1K
maybe they had a very strong current.
with a strong current averaging
'Cause I don't know if
52
Sam is
seconds
swimming.
per 100? Like, really?
So Sam just swam that faster than Katie Ledecky. Like almost 10 seconds per 100
Mhm.
faster than Katie Ledecky swims 1,500 meters in the pool.
Okay, so
Very
how
fast.
long do
Very
you think
fast.
his usual swim split is for a 70.3? More than 8
See,
minutes?
okay, this is the problem.
More
This is
than
the
20
problem, I do
minutes?
think, because well, yes, obviously, but I think that it's very hard. I do think even as a swimmer to say what is the average 70.3 swim time because swim courses
Mhm.
vary so much. I think all courses
Right.
vary so much. And all it takes is a buoy being a little off or like the chop being a
Mhm.
little bit more and the courses are significantly different. And so I kind of have different feelings about this. But okay, go on with your thoughts.
So
You do
my
not think
thought
this is a real world record.
no, because he's known to be not the strongest swimmer, right? So even here he was 19th out of the water. Um I am much slower swimming than he is, but as someone that is also a slower swimmer, it takes more out of you than a faster swimmer. So, if that swim was significantly shortened, it would usually probably wear him out more than the other pros, I would think. And so he was way more fresh getting on the bike. That doesn't count because it's about that riding 56 miles after your 1.2-mile swim.
Do you still think he can call himself a 70.3 champion?
Oh, well, it's just dumb that Iron Man calls their races that.
But
He can
okay,
be
but
the Gulf Coast champion
so you think he shouldn't even call himself a 70.3 champion?
for winning this one. Wait, has he not won a 70.3 before? He had to have,
He's won like
right?
20 of them.
Yeah, I that's what I thought. Okay, so he is a 70.3 champion. Is he a Gulf Coast 70.3
But
champion?
you
Only because
okay,
that's
because
the
I
name
have
of the race.
see, I think I have different thoughts. I think give
Okay,
him the record. I think give
tell
him
me
the
your
record.
thoughts.
I think give him a record. I think it's a 70.3. You can't control what the race course is. I don't think you can control like the Sam can't control that on whether they have a full swim or not. He shows up for the race that is in front of him. He did it.
Mhm.
He went faster than anyone. And yeah, give him the record. Give him the record. 70.3 champions. I do actually feel very strongly that anyone who raced finished a 70.3. I think that is an important distinction because I think from an amateur perspective, if you start saying it's not a 70.3, then you're saying that a lot of those people were first timers and that they haven't really done a 70.3. Yes, they have. I mean, it's again, it was different, but like, is it really any different than if the buoys are a little bit off, if the swim is downstream? I think if you start like
Oh
really parsing hairs
gosh.
on that, then
Yeah.
you make it where, like, only if everything's uphill it counts? That's so silly.
Yeah. But also, I mean, you can't argue that Ironman hasn't made a lot of courses easier and easier and taken away the harder ones.
Do you think it's actually easier, or do you just go faster?
It depends. It's a little of both. But they're putting more and more downstream swims, which as a weaker swimmer, I'm like all about that. Maybe I'm just jealous that there weren't more downstream swims back in my day when I was racing more.
You did miss out on that. Louisville kinda had a downstream, but we went upstream first, downstream. Did you ever race
Mhm.
Augusta?
I did not.
Augusta had a downstream swim. I did that one as a pro, and honestly, I did it a year that, I did swim, like, 19 minutes for a 70.3 swim in Augusta, which is, that is like Katie Ledecky speed for 1,900 meters. 'Cause I was in a wetsuit too, so I can, say I have swam that fast, but I was honestly, like, expecting it to feel like I was just, like, flying, like, just, like, being pulled along, and I was like I remember getting halfway, and I was like, "I must be done now, right?" And I was still only halfway, and there was, like, just
Oh.
the buoys changed colors, and I was like, "Am I done?" And it was like, "No, you're halfway." I honestly expected it to go much faster than it did. So, I mean, maybe I didn't have quite the same lead coming out that I might have had it been an upstream swim,
Mhm.
but it didn't feel like a major advantage, and I think overall the race finish time was faster, but it did not feel easier. It didn't feel easier. I have n
Yeah.
I asked Taylor Knibb about this, I think, before Texas. I was like, "Are you aware of records when you're racing? Are you aware of breaking records?" And she said it's actually really hard to know what, like, the total time is, and I would agree to that. Like,
Yeah.
when you're racing, like, you don't honestly really know what your total time is a lot of the time. Like, maybe you kind of know what your splits are, but doing the math on the total time and is really hard, and it's also hard to get, like, a accurate split on the total time, I think, from people on the course, and I I don't know. I don't think necessarily faster is easier. I don't I those are my feelings.
Okay. For a course.
I also
Yeah.
did I have done a few duathlons, or swim or, where we did run, bike run, and then I did do one race that was the swim was canceled. I did Waco, 70.3 or 1 year when there was flooding and the swim was canceled, and we just did the bike and the run. And I don't know if it was that much easier is my thought, like and honestly, that race gave me a lot of confidence because I won. I won that race, and I was always thought of as so much of a swimmer, and I think I won it on the run, and that gave me a lot of confidence as
Mhm.
a triathlete that I was more than just a swimmer. But I will say that there was an athlete who did not win in that race and then gave several interviews later not counting that as their first 70.3,
Oh.
and that hurt my feelings a little bit. So,
Oh.
where they were just like they say, like, they won their first full 70.3 that had a swim, but they didn't win that race, and I was like, "That was a 70.3," and also, if it had a
Yeah.
swim, I don't think I would have not won. I think I was the best swimmer
You
in that
yeah,
field,
you would
but
have had bonus minutes, in fact.
I know,
Mhm.
maybe. I mean, but
Mhm.
also I was like, maybe I swim too hard, and maybe it was better for me to not have a swim. You never know, right? You can't tell, but it is I love thought exercises and, just thinking about
Okay,
things,
wait,
and I
wait.
kinda
So
love that our thoughts are different on this.
no, now you're making me rethink maybe Sam doesn't swim as hard as the faster swimmers, and that's why he's slower. And so this might be that a shorter swim doesn't necessarily wear him out any different because now you're making me think you are faster because you go way harder, which I mean, I would say
Could
I
be.
have trouble going hard on the swim. So this kind of makes sense too. I can see both sides.
Right, like, it could be that yeah, that, um, it doesn't make as much of an impact. Did you ever get to do a race that had a canceled swim during your professional career?
Mm, oh, not as a professional, as an amateur. Yes, there was like one time in San Francisco, the Treasure Island Triathlon was an Olympic distance, and there was, like, an oil spill, like, 2 days before the race. So they canceled the swim, which, no one wants to swim in that, and then I did another local race at the beach here where it was, like, way too foggy that the lifeguards couldn't had no visibility to see the swimmers, so they canceled the swim on that one, but yeah, not as a pro, unfortunately. I wouldn't have minded that
They
much.
always have the you race so much too. I think that also
Yeah,
just shows how things have changed maybe with weather, but then also insurance and ownership of races and
sure.
what constitutes a canceled or shortened swim. But and for the most part, I think the races I did that had canceled or shortened swims, it needed to be canceled or shortened. I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't we don't need to do something that's totally unsafe and could potentially have catastrophic effects. And so
sure.
I never was at a race where I was like, "Oh, we could have had the swim." It was like, "No, there's a good reason." And so, I'm very thankful for the race directors and everyone making those decisions on keeping the athletes safe, but uh, it does change the race dynamics. I think the psychology, maybe if you have a time trial start or if you are someone who normally comes out and hears that you're several minutes down and instead you hear that you're only a few seconds down or you can see someone that you normally
Yeah.
can't see, the
Mhm.
psychology and the tactics of the race do change. And so and if there is a time trial start, which it wasn't that didn't happen here, but where you start in just kind of a random order usually, you draw numbers, then it really becomes like you need to have someone on course who can tell you what place you're in because you can't
Right.
necessarily tell
Sure.
just by looking at who's around you. And so like you kind of it really values that you get a little bit more value out of having a crew there for you. But again, parts of racing, the challenges of racing, I think it's hard no matter what. Jocelyn will tell you it's only real if you go uphill.
If it's crazy hilly, uphill all the way, point to point.
Even though you just did a net downhill 10
I
miler, and I'll
know.
say it's a real one. Next year you come to Atlanta and you do the loop with all the hills and you can do a real 10 miler. Or come out to Montana and we could do an uphill trail race.
I
And,
wouldn't mind.
and
I
then,
do like a challenging race, but I don't
4th of
mind
July, 4th of
downhill.
July. I have an extra you can ride the fat bike up to the start as our warm up. We'll be doing no warm ups, no jogging in place. 4th of July, you're very welcome. Bring Ainsley. There might be some ice skating out here. I'll do some research, but Jocelyn, it's always great catching up with you and congratulations on your 10 miler. Do you have any other races coming up?
I have to switch my mindset now to triathlon season, which means I have to stop skipping all the swims that are on my training plan. Uh, the end of the month, I'm doing a sprint distance rock haul, and then I have a few before nationals. So, yeah, I got to get back in the water.
What keeps you from going to the pool?
It's just logistically a pain in the butt. So, it's the whole, so my husband leaves for work, like, super early, and so I can't get to the pool in between, like and then daycare opens at a certain time, so I can drop her off as soon as they open at 7:15, but that's the preferred time she wakes up. And so I would rather try to get in a trainer ride or like a treadmill run before she wakes up. But it's like she has an unpredictable wake up schedule. And then the open water swim does start on Monday. So I'm excited. So I will at least get in a Monday swim. And then in June,
Is this in the
our
evening? You go swim with
yes.
a group in open water? Okay, that
Hmm.
sounds fun.
Yes, it's only like a 10-minute drive from here. So, I'm all about the convenience. And then, in after Memorial Day, the outdoor pool opens up, and that's across the street from my office. So, I will get to sneak
Nice.
over for a lunchtime swim. So, yeah, it feels like for me, swimming with a small child, with our schedule, it's just, like, easier to get those in once it's summertime and there's more options other than, like, rushing around. It's, like, too
Mhm.
stressful to get it done before work with everything else.
I I can relate a little bit as an athlete, and I do think that I ask about it because as a coach, I do find the pool is just one of the hardest things. I think
Mhm.
pool schedules are really hard. Pool access is very hard, and that is something that keeps people from doing triathlon. And so I like to talk about that, and just so that it
Yeah.
kind of does show that it is really hard. And I think kind of it is part of the sport is navigating that, like navigating the pool schedule and trying to do what you can if you can get in open water, if you can get to certain pools, and maybe if you can swim more at certain times of the year. I think that there is some value in that, and I think it's nice and relatable to hear that. I myself, I am a retired professional triathlete who still loves swimming, and I think that's a little bit unusual, but I have
Yeah.
been swimming at least once a week. I've been trying to swim at least once a week. I think that's like I even saw Matt Hansen in New Zealand, and he was like, "Oh, but you don't swim anymore, right?" And I was like, "Not that I'm retired." And I was like, "Oh, I love swimming. I love it more than anything." And so I've been prioritizing it, trying to get there at least once a week. I like swimming in the morning, and I think my work schedule makes that a little bit tough, but now hopefully it relaxes a little bit. And so I did swim twice last week, and I would love to even throw in a third swim. And just I do feel like swimming feels a little bit better if you do it a little more often. And then I like the
Mhm.
social aspect of it. I think seeing people, even just seeing lifeguards and just seeing that your normal crew at the pool is
Yeah.
really nice. So I'm hopeful I can continue to do that over the next couple months in my return to fitness. So, even though I have no
Yay.
triathlons on my schedule, I do still really enjoy the sport. So, we'll keep each other holding each other accountable to get those swims in.
Yes, I would like to go for twice a week. That's my big goal. And then,
How far do you usually swim when you swim, when you're training for a sprint triathlon?
well, I told my coach, like, "Do not make me swim more than 2,000." And a lot of them are like 1,500 because the swim distances they vary from like I'm doing a couple races where it's only 300 yards or meters, which is very exciting, but it's like the standard sprint distance at nationals is 750. So I'm like, why do I need to swim more than 2,000? I don't. Don't make me. I won't.
You can just knock that out in, like, well under an hour.
Yeah. It's like it's really like give me it 30 to 40 minutes and I'm happy.
Perfect. I think that's just great. I think that's great, and that's it works for you and you feel good about it and works hopefully with your life, but, hopefully, I hope the next time we chat, I get to hear more about your time at the pool and
Mhm.
another Ainsley ice skating update. Coming up this week is Chattanooga 70.3, which is another one of my favorites to watch. I think it has a pro field, not a pro series, but so there won't be coverage. But I think that's a fun one. Last year, the swim there was canceled, but that's a downriver swim. But I think what they do there is they make it a little bit longer. Like I think
Oh,
it's more than 1.3
interesting.
miles. Yeah, so your swim time does end up is that Jocelyn approved? Do you think that's a real
That's approved.
70.3?
Longer's fine. Longer's fine. Shorter is eh.
Well, everyone racing in Chattanooga this weekend, Jocelyn says it is a real race. Congratulations on your 70.3. But Jocelyn, have a great Mother's Day. Thanks again for catching up and sharing a drink with me, and enjoy the rest of your
Yes.
weekend.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.